They were 15 who dared to dream. 15 Black Americans who helped shape Pittsburgh's history. 15 legendary names. 15 legendary stories. And tonight, we'll count them down all the way to number 1. In honor of African American History Month, it's 15 who dared to dream. And the countdown starts right now.
Hello, everyone. I'm Darieth Chisholm.
And I'm Vince Sims. Tonight we'll profile 15 Black Pittsburghers who changed our region's history forever, and in some cases, they changed the world. They are our 15 who dared to dream.
But just how did we arrive at this countdown list? Well, we asked some of the area's top community leaders to rank these legendary African American history makers in order of importance.
And then we tabulated those ballots to come up with our consensus countdown. Our top 15 list includes notables from the world of politics, civil rights, art, and entertainment.
And even though we could probably devote an entire program to each of our 15 who dare to dream, during the next half hour, we're going to profile them all.
So Darieth, I guess we'd better get going. Let's kick off the countdown right now with number 15.
All right, and here we go. At number 15 on our list, Martin R. Delany, who was appointed by President Abraham Lincoln as the first black field officer in the United States Army. Delany was accepted into the Harvard Medical School in the 1850s, but after one semester, white students there lobbied for his expulsion. He returned to Pittsburgh, where he eventually practiced medicine, but Delany was also a tireless champion for social justice and started The Mystery, the first black newspaper west of the Alleghenies. This marker near PPG Place in downtown Pittsburgh commemorates the spot where The Mystery was printed.
Through his paper, The Mystery, he advocated for black people for self-help and do for self. He was a man that we don't pay enough attention to because he's been deceased far too long.
Delany was an outspoken abolitionist and an important figure in Pittsburgh's Underground Railroad. With the recent passing of John Christian, a pioneer in the field of black media was silenced. John was the first black disc jockey in the Pittsburgh market in an area when rock and roll, rhythm and blues, and soul music were taking mainstream America by storm. He became known as Sir Walter Raleigh because listeners thought he spoke with an English accent, and John played the role to the hilt, pairing his new moniker with a monocle and an English derby.
I really didn't have an accent, just that what people did not recognize, what they recognize as an accent is just the way I learned how to talk, because I was raised in Binghamton, New York, and most of the people there were immigrants from Scotland, Wales, or England. Thus, they recognized that as an accent.
Sir Walter spun the hits at Wham-O for 11 years and also hosted some of the area's first integrated sock hops. In the 70s, he moved to television, where he worked here at Channel 11, reporting and interviewing such notables as Martin Luther King Jr., Reverend Jesse Jackson, Harry Belafonte,
Nat King Cole, Muhammad Ali. These are people you don't meet every day. And every one of these people added something to my life. Every one of these persons added something to my life that I will always remember.
Coming in at number 13 on our countdown, we have a tie. Two guys, both named Billy, both of whom played a seminal role in the history of American music. Hear that sound? You may recognize that as Duke Ellington's Take the A Train. But did you know that many of the Duke's biggest hits were written and arranged by a jazz genius from right here in Pittsburgh? Billy Strayhorn grew up on Tioga Street in Homewood, and his jazz styling shook the world of music to its foundations.
Billy Strayhorn may be the single greatest jazz genius in the 20th century and of all time. He moves to Homewood as a young child, and as a young child evinces an incredible talent for music, writes Lush Life, perhaps the all-time great jazz standard. As a teenager, goes on, of course, to write with and for Duke Ellington and writes his own work, some of the greatest compositions of the 20th century.
Strayhorn, a graduate of Westinghouse High, where his historical marker stands today, collaborated with Duke Ellington for almost 30 years. Strayhorn also wrote songs for his good friend, fellow Pittsburgher Lena Horne, and many others. He wrote Take the A Train and several other jazz classics during a 3-day Cross Country Train Ride, when a labor action prohibited the Ellington Band from playing any of its usual concert pieces.
He wrote it without benefit of having a musical instrument with him to play it out. He wrote it in his mind on a train on his way to LA.
I love the rhythm in the riff, when the music jumps I can live, body, anything to make it swing.
Another member of Pittsburgh's early jazz scene who went on to make it big nationally was silky smooth vocalist Billy Eckstine. Eckstine was born in Highland Park, and in the 1950s, he rivaled Frank Sinatra in popularity. He was known as Mr. B, and Eckstine's sophisticated sounds made him a favorite of black and white audiences alike.
I met his sister once downtown, and she came up to me and said, "I'm Billy Eckstine's sister." And she had that same smooth voice, and I just fell out because my mom loved Billy Eckstine.
Riffing is the thing for me.
When we return, he was a gambler whose name was synonymous with the legendary Crawford Grill. And we'll profile a man who made a truly celestial catch. Our countdown moves into the top 10 when 15 Who Dare to Dream continues. Stay with us.